Hey guys, welcome back to our channel and Happy New Year everyone! This is my first video for 2024 and it coincides with the Aliexpress Winter Sale, so here's one option for you to consider. It's from Merkur watches and it features a cool vintage design, a manual winding seagull movement and a colorful dial in one very compact and very thin case. This watch was sent to me for a review by Merkur Watches, but it can be purchased from the high-end watches store on Aliexpress for just €93 and it is available in a couple of different configurations. You can choose between an orange or a turquoise blue dial and each can be paired with either a white leather strap or a vintage metal bracelet. The watch arrives very well protected in this red and blue hard shell travel case. In it you won't find much, just a user's manual and a cleaning cloth, which is actually quite nice. And you know, as a person who wears glasses, having one more of these is very much appreciated. Now let me walk you through the dimensions of this model, and I must say this is one of the aspects that has really surprised me about this watch. The case diameter is 38mm, but the thickness, or better said the thinness, is just 9mm, which means that this is probably the thinnest watch I've ever shown here on the channel. Then we've got the lug-to-lug, which is also quite compact, as it measures 45mm, and finally there's the space between the lugs, which is 20mm. Obviously a watch that's so thin and compact must be quite light. On the supplied leather strap, it weighs only 54 grams, and you can barely feel it on the wrist. Especially if you're like me and you're used to wearing watches that weigh well over 100 grams. And you know, this watch might be light, but it doesn't feel cheap at all, and as you can see it also looks pretty great on my 17cm or 6.7-inch wrist. Typically, the straps that come with watches that are so affordable are nothing to be excited about, but this one is actually more than just okay. Of course, time will tell, but my initial impressions are very good, the stitching is fine, the strap is flexible and as a result comfortable. And it comes with quick release spring bars for easy removal. But most importantly, it looks nice and it goes well with the watch itself. Next, let's have a quick word about the design. I'm no vintage watch expert by any means, but after a quick Google search, it seems to me that the design is heavily inspired by dress watches with a small second complication that were popular in the 40s. Whatever the case is, I like the design. It's quite different from what I'm used to wearing, but I like the overall look here and the bright colors give it some very strong summer vibes. And although the dimensions here suggest that this is a dress watch, I can easily see myself wearing it with shorts, t-shirt and flip-flops, but hey, when it comes to fashion, clothes and color matching, I'm the last person you want to ask for an advice. Moving on to the build quality, guys, this is the part where I didn't expect this watch to be so good. It's made of stainless steel and it feels very solid for a watch that weighs around 50 grams. The domed mineral crystal is also very cool. I believe there is no air coating of any kind applied on either side, but still, it's very clear and it doesn't affect the legibility. This watch is just 30 meters water resistant, so it's not suitable for swimming, but that's completely fine as this is not the type of watch people go to the beach with. However, I'm impressed that even so, it comes with a screw-down case back, which is probably the reason why the watch feels so solid in the hand. The finishing looks great as well, and compared to the Merkur watch that I reviewed last year, this one looks much more refined. The case is satin finished while the top of the lugs is high polished, and there are no sharp edges at all. Here is a closer look at the dial, and there are actually quite a few things to be mentioned about it. It's a really nice dial, I like the color scheme and the overall layout. My favorite thing about it has to be the handset. I wouldn't say it's the best choice, but I'm a big fan of syringe hands, and that's why I don't think they look out of place too much. However, I can't tell the same for the 6 o'clock hour marker. It's not a deal breaker, guys, but I think the dial would have looked a bit nicer if this half of a marker wasn't there at all. Besides that, the dial is very well executed, it looks very clean, without any imperfections, and even the small second sub-dial is fairly legible considering how small it is. Next, I would like to show you what the dial looks like in the dark. To be honest, I really expected the lume of this watch to be terrible, but it turned out to be very good. I doubt it's super luminova, but it's surprisingly bright and long-lasting. The hands glow a bit stronger, but the hour markers are not far behind, and the lume application is very even. I have to tell you, a good lume in a watch like this is not a must for me, but when it's there, I definitely appreciate it. Last but not least, we need to talk about the movement. It's a Seagull ST17, and since it's the first time I deal with it, I had to do a bit of a research, and as you can see, I even opened the case back so that we can see what it looks like. It's a 3 Hz manual winding movement with 17 joules, and the power reserve of about 40 hours. When it comes to the accuracy, fully wound, dial up position, it runs just 5 seconds fast per day, which is downright impressive. I can't really tell you how it will perform in the long term, but there are threads on Reddit, and people seem to be very pleased with the performance of this particular movement. By the way, to fully wind it, it takes about 50 to 60 turns, and it's fairly easy to wind despite the crown being on the smaller side. The bottom line is, this Merkur, or Gil Berlin, call it as you wish, is one of the better offerings that can be found on Aliexpress. It costs only $90, and for that price, it's probably the thinnest automatic watch that you can buy. The dial looks nice, the build quality is excellent, the lume is great, and the movement is accurate. If all this sounds appealing to you, then you should definitely check it out. Thank you for watching, everyone. I try to make videos that are short and to the point, but if you feel like you haven't had enough, check one of these 2 videos. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one.